Hey, good afternoon to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is not so bright and early anymore. It's 3 p.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I've been thinking about this video long and hard. I'm trying to think of the right way to present this. I've had a little extra time on my hands now that I wrapped up. I mentioned in the last previous videos that I've delivered my paintings. I have a lot of paintings. It's one of the things I do to earn money. I'm a professional painter, and a lot of people hired me, contracted me to do artwork for gifts. And I just wrapped that all up, and I'm just kind of taking a break from that for a little while. So I've been going through YouTube channels. Like in my previous video, I talked about this YouTube channel I came across. I think it's called Bruz40. I just talked about it in the previous video. And all this guy does is slam 40 ounces of malt liquor in every video. And, and I came across this other channel. And I don't want to beat up on this, but it made me realize that it seems that young men today, like when I was young, there was no computers. There was no computer screens. The video games didn't come around till I was in my mid-teens. So in my world, there was no sitting in front of computer screens. We went out and did stuff. We went out. A lot of times we got in trouble, but we would go to the mall. That's where I spent a good amount of my time when I was in my early teens, early to mid teens, going to the mall and getting in fights and meeting girls, getting phone numbers. And it seems like young guys today, they have a problem. There's no lack of people trying to give advice to young men. When I say young men, I say between 18 and maybe 30. And the people that came to mind were Andrew Tate, that kickboxer idiot that's in jail in Romania. Nick Fuentes, he's always trying to give young guys advice. And then I came across this channel, and this channel is called Far From Weak. Okay, and this channel has over a million, 2 million subscribers. Every video's got a million, 2 million, 3 million views. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of young men. It's focused at young men. So there's a lot of young men that seem to have, the videos on this channel tell you how to be successful with women, what women want, what women crave, how to handle women, how to control women, how to smash their egos. Seriously. Then I came across one that said how to do away with any addiction. And I am an expert on addiction, having been addicted to some of the most powerful stuff on this earth. And I just looked over this whole channel, and it's got all this advice about getting rich, and there's no lack of people getting rich and getting successful themselves, trying to say that they have the answer, trying to convince these young men. And apparently, a lot of young guys out there are believing it, because there's millions of views on this one particular. I'm not trying to beat up on this channel, but it seems like a symptom, a thing, an ongoing situation, with the young guys today. And I want to give you guys my opinion on what I've learned in my 58 years on this earth. The first thing I noticed about this channel, Far From Weak, okay, it's got this guy that talks like this, and he's all powerful, stoic, like a Roman warrior, and you could just hear his voice, and it says, be strong, don't be pathetic, like how to possess a woman, how to make money, don't be weak, and all this crap. And the thing I noticed is you don't see what this guy looks like. It's got a animated, computer-generated image of some bald dude with a beard and big old muscles. It's computer-generated. So first thing I start thinking to myself is, I guarantee you there's no one person behind this channel. It's probably it was a brainstorm on how to get rich, how to sell nonsense and crap to young men that are confused, that are struggling to get girls, to struggling to make money, struggling with their self-confidence. And the people like this, people like Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes and this one particular channel are just thriving, are making money off giving these guys nonsense advice. All right, so like I said, I would love to see what this guy with the big, powerful voice sounds like. And some of this advice is just stupid. It talks a lot about hate. And, I don't believe hate. It says how hate is a good emotion, hate and anger, that people call these negative emotions. And this channel thinks there's a time for hate and anger. No, that's nonsense. Hate and anger will eat you up. There is no positive side to hate. Remember this: if you believe that, hate is like acid. It eats the container that it's in. If you keep hate in you, it will eat you up. Same thing with anger. Anger is really fear. That's the bottom line there. When you see somebody that gets angry or hateful at something, a lot of that has to do, they're scared. They're scared of whatever they're angry at. That's the truth with that. Okay, so the link will be down below to this. So on this channel, Far From Weak, there's this one video. I'll have the link down below. It says, how 5 steps to completely battle addiction. And so, a couple of them are good. One of them talks about exercise, and that's the truth. Exercise and getting yourself in physical. The main thing with any of these issues with money, with is self-confidence. And if you're gonna, there's no easy way to fight an addiction. In this video, it talks about hate. You should hate your addiction. You should hate whatever you're addicted to. And this channel, like I said, it talks an awful lot about pleasuring themselves. Apparently, there's a big problem with young guys today, and the number they mentioned in this video was 9 times a day. Even when I was younger, I never did that 9 times in one. I think the most times I ever did it when I was younger was 6 times in one day. So I don't know what's going on, if these guys are just sitting in front of computer screens and just rubbing themselves raw constantly day in and day out. But I could see how that's a problem. I think young guys today are missing how to interact with other people, being behind the computer and living this fantasy life with the games and not learning how to function, how to interact with women and with other guys and have confidence in themselves. Back when I was young and we got horny, you go to the mall, you get a phone number, you'd set up a date, man. You go to the movie, you work for it. Taking care of your own, taking care of business by yourself was always another option, but not 9 times a day. All right, so in this addiction video, like it says hate your addiction. Another one of the ones was fight dirty against your addiction. I don't even know what that means. You want the truth about addiction is you need to talk. You need to talk to other people, like groups. I know nobody's going to want to hear that. People are probably going to mock me and make fun of me in the comments. But the rooms, as we call them, like NA, AA, they have groups for gambling. They have groups for sex addiction. They have groups for all this stuff. And that's one of the best ways. Or even a counselor or something like that. The best way is to talk about it. And you start to understand yourself. When you talk to somebody else, you talk to a group of people that are just like you, you start to understand why you do these things. You start to understand why, where there's holes in your life. When you hear other people describe your same situation, it's easier to be objective and to see. It's like you could see yourself in somebody else, and it's easier to say, geez, that's the problem right there. When you see, that's what helps with being in these groups. Fighting these addictions by yourself is a losing battle. Asking for help is, in this channel never mentions that. Asking for help is the number one thing to do, and it's the hardest thing to do. Ask for help. Talk it out, talk to people. And this channel says nothing about any of that. And with that, exercise and self-confidence, believing in yourself, being comfortable with yourself, not needing to have people constantly around, not needing to have constant input. They do mention in this video on this channel, they do mention about sitting quietly by yourself, or they call it doing nothing. But there's more to it than just doing nothing. Being comfortable with yourself. Okay, let's talk about money really quick. One thing I learned is being rich isn't really successful. What I've learned is things change. Like when I was younger, a lot of the jobs I did when I was younger are gone now. You have to change. You have to grow, survive or die. You have to change. One of the jobs I used to do was delivering magazines. We had a whole warehouse. It was a magazine delivery service, one of the biggest ones in the New York City area. We delivered newspapers, magazines, books, and I thought for sure that place would be around forever. There's always going to be, TV Guide and Vogue magazine and Playboy and Field and Stream, and so there was thousands upon thousands of titles and magazines, and I started there. Putting together orders, and I became a truck driver. I became a salesman. That place is gone now. Everything turned to computers. TV Guide disappeared. And I learned that. I did architectural drafting. I love to draw with a pencil, a T-square. That's gone now. It turned into CAD drafting, and a lot of the stuff that I loved about drafting, gone. Things change. You have to be able to spot where things are headed, with what people want, new trends. That will make you successful. Being willing to fill a niche that needs to be constantly watching to see which way things are going, where things are headed. And being able to fill that niche will keep you successful. That's a good way to stay successful. And being able to mold yourself and reinvent yourself constantly, because you're going to need to do that. There's some guys that started off 30 years ago doing, say, landscaping, and they're still doing it today, but that's few and far between. A lot of people do a job for 20 years and then they find that job is no longer needed, and they're screwed, basically. You got to be able to change, and this is another thing that takes confidence in yourself. I went from architectural drafting to truck driving to becoming an artist. I had a CDL license. I went to school for drafting and computer design. You have to vary your interests and watch where trends are headed. Okay, here's the big one. Let's talk about women. On this channel, Far From Weak, it's just nonsense where they talk about like kind of head games, like a chess game. How to get a woman to notice you, what to do if a woman ignores you. Okay, this is one of the things I was watching down below, and I'll put the videos will be down below. And it says, you should just ignore her and write her off. This is the thing you have to remember, and I don't think people like this channel, they don't say anything about this. Okay. There's been plenty of times say I'm in a store and I see a woman go by me and she just completely ignores me. It's obvious to me that she feel for whatever reason she's ignoring me. And I could tell she's doing that. So when this channel, they tell you to do this to a woman, to pretend she did, and it's going to be obvious. If you can spot people doing it to you, then the women can tell when you are doing it to them. The main thing is just be yourself. I've honestly, in 58 years on this earth, I've been dating for 45 years, at least 45 years of dating. And I've had easily over 100 girlfriends. And the main thing is just being yourself, listening, paying attention to the woman. Humor, being confident in yourself is the most attractive thing. I think you could be overweight, you could be missing teeth, but if you are confident, if you give off an aura of confidence, and that doesn't mean you have to be cocky or ignore the woman or try to bash her ego. It's just true and honest confidence. It's not arrogance. It's just knowing that whatever comes down the road, you'll get through it and you'll handle it. And you're not a genius, you're not a GQ model, but you have what you have enough for yourself. You are happy and confident with yourself. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. And those are just some of the tips I wanted to give. I should get more into this because there's obviously a need for young men to have for direction, for some advice with these people trying to make money, trying to give these guys worthless advice, really, like hate your addiction, or how to smash a woman's ego so she'll love you. Nonsense. And I guarantee you never see what this person looks like in this video. He's got this voice, like, the manly voice. And, I could picture what this guy really looks like, or these guys really look like. And I'm sure they don't look like some Roman warrior. I'd be willing to put money on that. I will talk more about this. This was just off the top of my head. I came across this channel, Far From Weak, and they hit a few things. They got a couple things right, like with the physical exercise, with addiction, and there was a few others here and there. But overall, it's a bunch of nonsense, like hating your addiction, or fighting dirty against your addiction, or bashing a woman's ego to make her love you. Nonsense, man. No wonder, if young men have a problem now, they're going to have a bigger problem. They're going to be more confused and in deeper crap if they listen to people like Far From Weak and people like Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate. So, like I said, I've been around for 58 years. I've done good things. I've done bad things. I've had a lot of girlfriends. I've been around, and I've noticed a few things. I don't know everything. I don't know half of everything. I don't even know a fraction of everything, but I've learned a few things. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Tuesday.